word for fascial property, which is viscosity. It's viscous. And people are like, ooh, what does that mean? So cornstarch experiment. How many of you done this before? Yeah, you've seen me do it probably if you've been here before. So you can play with this in the break. I think every time I do this, I end up like with cornstarch everywhere. So I'll open it anyway, and you can poke your fingers at your convenience, maybe in lunch break. So it looks liquid, yeah, until I apply force to it. So if I hit it, if I come in really quickly, if I impact it, it gets rock solid. And people are like, if I try to put my fingers in now and try to really forcefully remove it, it gets absolutely rock solid, but then I'll let go and it just drips through my fingers. So that's something you can play with. In the body, on impact, so when you jump, when something hits you, that part of fascia, the viscosity, goes rock solid. So it's very much like, I do that, and it splatters and becomes, so from being liquid, this is not quite liquid, but if I splatter it, it just gets rock solid. Yeah, this is also stress relief. So, and you can train that, and it only happens at a really fast speed. So if it's really, really fast impact, so if you have a trigger point and you try and push in it really, really hard, really, really fast, that's what will happen. It will become, the place where you press it will become rock solid. Same the liquid in your joints, when you jump, like I said, you try and catch a cricket ball. That's another good example. If you catch a cricket ball, all the liquid, this gooey stuff, gets solid so you can actually catch the ball. Otherwise the ball just breaks your fingers. Just gets through your hand at that speed. The other example, I think, if you kind of can't imagine it, is if you jump from a very high bridge into water, at the speed at which you hit the water makes the water rock solid. So that's how you injure yourself, I guess. Anyway, so play with this. I mean, I can demo, but we'll end up all over in cornstarch. But it's a really nice thing. However, if I come in really softly and I wait, so I meet it and I wait and I wait and I wait, you'll notice how quickly your fingers actually sink through. So for your body-wise, if you meet something at the resistance level, this is the MFR technique, really. You want to meet the body softly. So you don't go in and you press and you manipulate and you break. You try to come in and you wait, and you come in and you wait, and you come in and you wait, and so on. So this is viscosity. If I change the speed at which I'm working with my fascia, so if I slow down just a tad, just a little bit, so if I, instead of jumping and having high impact, if I just try and bounce, for example, or do 4-foot running, or if I, remember the days when you did the ballistic stretching, we did this, no? Then it was knocked sideways and then it's back again, actually. So fascia is also elastic. Because of the fibers in there, it can also be elastic. So it can, if I stretch it, and it's about a second long kind of reaction, let go, it has this capacity to bounce back. So it happens a little bit slower than the kind of hardness that happens with viscosity, but it's still pretty fast. And it's something that you can train. So some people go, I don't feel elastic. You can train that with specific form of exercise, any kind of bouncy, trampoline, 4-foot running, as I said, exercise. Why is it important? Is because elasticity is what gives you a bounce back, therefore keeps you young. So elasticity is a coefficient of youth. As I jokingly say, babies, when they fall down, they bounce back. Grandmas don't. So that's kind of like, this is my favorite kind of quotation. So some of the movements will use a little bit of elastic recoil because elasticity gives this responsiveness to your body you're looking for. And so if I combine these two, if I combine elasticity with viscosity, if I combine this ability to be gooey and respond to pressure, and I combine this elasticity, ability to respond to this loading, I get what they call viscoelastic, or better word for it is plastic. So if I combine the two, I get this kind of quality that if I load it and I stretch it and I go slower, then it can start to change shape. And if I load it and it's relatively slow and I hold it, but it's only a short period of time, then when I let go, it slowly comes back to its original shape. If I load it and I sit here for a while, and please note I'm loading to a point of, so I feel the resistance and I stop. If I go further, I'll tear it. But if I load it and I wait, and I load it and I wait, and I load it and I wait, approximately 90 seconds to a minute, to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then I keep repeating that on a regular basis, what I get is that will not come back to its original shape, or it will take it a lot longer to come back to the original shape, which gives me another property of fascia, which is, so as well as being plastic, so it can change shape given time, it's also remodeling. So I can change the shape of this over time. So plasticity, this, is slower. I have to be slow, but remodeling takes even longer. So actually you can see it doesn't really spring back so easily. My daughter was heartbroken when I took this and said she can't eat it. So you can see it doesn't really come back very well to its original shape. Okay, so there is, why am I saying all these things? Because there is a relative obsession with, fascia has become a big word in fitness world. Yeah, and how would you define fitness? What's your definition of, because everybody is trying to be fit, so what's your definition of fitness? Like what? Everybody's
exercise.
Okay. Yeah.
Quicker recovery time.
Mm-hmm.
Ability to play and do what I want.
Yeah, so yeah, all of those things. And for me, kind of fitness, a nice definition of fitness is that you can respond to your environment in a creative way. So whenever there is a demand, you can respond to it in a way that doesn't break you. There are overlays of, in the 70s, everything was all about power. The stronger you were, the better. In the 80s, you had Jane Fonda, so cardiovascular fitness. And then in the 90s, it was all about core stability, so Pilates. And then in the teens now, in the early 2000s, we talk about fascia. So fascia became this big thing. And there is, for a while, that's been and still is, relative obsession with fascial release. As if somehow if I stretch more or loosen more or do something somewhere, that I'll be better off. But fascia, as you told me, is everything. It's absolutely everything in you. And so it has all of these capacities to respond to your environment, and all of them you can train. So you're actually using your fascia no matter what you're doing. Even sitting down now, you're still using and training your fascia. Whether you're sitting on the sofa, whether you're sitting on the bus, whether you're sitting in the car, whether you're walking, you're doing yoga, whether you're playing football, whether whatever, you name it, all of that has effect on your fascia. So it's not that remodeling or plasticity or trying to reshape things is better than having an elastic ability, having ability to bounce back. It's just all those things that's what your fascia does. It's not better or worse. And all of those things, the beauty of those things is that you can train them. And everything you know about muscles is wrong. Everything that you've been taught about muscles is wrong, in a sense that we say there's 600 muscles in the body, and then there's fascia. Well, actually there is one muscle in the body poured into 600 fascial pockets. And when you think about it like that, then you suddenly start to understand that, I better take care of my fascia.